Welcome back, Focus Learners. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Today's explainer is a really fascinating look behind the curtain of the food industry. Have you ever wondered exactly how your favorite snack was perfectly engineered? It certainly wasn't by accident. In this explainer, we're unpacking exactly how top food brands eliminate all the guesswork from their product launches. We're going to explore this by looking directly at the Consumer Research in the Food Industry training material provided by Consumer Insight Consulting. It's essentially a masterclass in turning consumer taste into actionable business strategy, and we are going to break the whole shebang down for you.
Okay, let's dive into this. How do food brands know what we actually want to eat? This isn't just some philosophical question. It is the central, defining challenge of food research and development. In an environment of fierce competition and rapidly, constantly changing consumer preferences, figuring out the answer to this exact question is the core friction of the entire industry. It's literally the difference between a product that becomes a household staple and a product that costs millions in development only to fail spectacularly on the supermarket shelf.
The dividing line between massive success and an expensive failure really comes down to one simple thing: assumptions versus data. In the food industry, a lack of deep consumer insight leads directly to guessing. And let me tell you, guessing is incredibly dangerous. When companies guess, they suffer from low market acceptance, and they simply cannot build a sustainable competitive advantage. But when you shift to data-driven choices, well, you align perfectly with market needs, vastly increasing your return on investment.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the danger of assumptions. Second, inside the training solution. Third, mastering sensory research. Fourth, a day of practical learning. And finally, number 5, the bottom line business benefits.
All right, starting right off with Section 1, the danger of assumptions. So, the cost of guessing basically breaks down into 3 devastating categories. First up, incorrect product decisions. This means you're spending your precious R&D budget on flavor profiles or textures that, honestly, no one actually asked for. Second, low market acceptance of new products. You launch and crickets. Consumers just walk right past it in the aisle. And third, the lack of a sustainable competitive advantage. Look, if you don't understand the fundamental motivations driving your customers, your competitors who do have that data are going to outmaneuver you every single time. A lack of insight fundamentally damages your product market fit.
Which brings us to Section 2, inside the training solution. Or do they dislike it? But doing this accurately isn't as simple as just handing someone a cookie and asking what they think. Adhering to international ISO 1136-2017 standards is absolutely crucial. It dictates exactly how samples are presented and how questions are asked to strip away that human bias. It's literally the only way to ensure the data you collect is reliable, consistent, and actually ready to be used for major financial decisions.
To capture this unbiased data, professionals use a very specific toolkit. It starts with sensory analysis, so that's isolating taste, smell, and texture. Then they use focus group moderation to extract valuable, unspoken consumer insights. And finally, surveys and observations step in to capture the actual psychology behind why someone puts an item into their shopping cart. It's like a giant puzzle coming together.
And that takes us to Section 4, a day of practical learning. Let's move to and see how this builds throughout the day. The curriculum is mapped out chronologically. So the morning at 9 o'clock is dedicated to theory and research methods, diving into shopping psychology and decision-making. Then, after a lunch break at 12, there is a crucial pivot. At 13, the afternoon shifts directly into practical laboratory skills. This is where attendees conduct actual hedonic tests using those ISO 1136 guidelines and run focus group workshops. The day wraps up around 1500 with selecting the right methods and analyzing trends for specific business goals.
During that final hour, the focus shifts entirely to the future. Attendees learn to analyze overarching market trends, specifically things like the massive shift toward healthy eating, cutting-edge flavor innovations, and modern packaging solutions. This segment is all about empowering food professionals to proactively respond to consumer shifts and really future-proof their product offerings before the market leaves them behind.
Which perfectly sets up Section 5, the bottom line business benefits. All of this scientific rigor translates directly into real ROI. First off, risk reduction and cost optimization. By identifying market barriers early, you actively prevent those expensive failed launches. Second, strategic product market fit. You're creating products perfectly aligned with what the market actually needs. Third, improved marketing and sales effectiveness, mostly because your communication strategies are now incredibly accurate. And finally, building an advantage through insights. What this really does is build a shared language within the company. It tightly integrates R&D, marketing, and sales, so everyone is looking at the exact same data, a real game changer.
But hey, don't just take the theory for it. The source material features a real-world client who noted, "This collaboration brought a new level of rigor and consistency to our product evaluation process. Clients consistently note that their decision-making becomes faster, clearer, and totally measurable. This grounds all that scientific and corporate data we've discussed into proven, tangible business success."
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Are your next food product decisions going to be based on solid data, or are you just guessing what consumers want? In today's hyper-competitive market, let's be honest, guessing is a luxury no brand can afford. I highly encourage you to explore the source material from Consumer Insight Consulting further to see exactly how you can implement these strategies. Thank you so much for joining me today, focused learners. Keep asking questions, keep relying on the data, and I will see you in the next explainer.